In this video, I'm going to talk about how to choose keywords that will bring you the most traffic for your app. And as I mentioned in a previous video, the keywords that you select as well as your app title go hand in hand, and it's very important to choose both the app title as well as the keywords together as one to be most optimized for your app. Another thing that I need to mention is that for the Google Play Store and an Android app, you don't actually enter keywords anywhere in your listing. The way Android works, or the way the Google Play Store works, is that you actually put your keywords into your description in your app listing. And in that description, Google will then optimize what you've written and rank your app appropriately for the keywords that you've selected. And I'll go into more detail with that a little later in this video. But just for now, keep in mind that keywords are not entered anywhere for Android apps in the Google Play Store other than in the description, and that's where you want to optimize them. For the iOS store, there is a keywords section, and that's where you can enter in specific keywords that you want to rank for, and that's how iOS will determine how and what it ranks for your app. So here's a listing of an app in iTunes Connect, and which is the back end of where you submit all your apps if you have a developer account. And down in the metadata and uploads, there's a section for your app name where you would enter it, the description. If it's an updated version, you have a section where you can enter what's new in this version. And right here, there's a section for keywords. And as you can see here, there's several keywords that I entered in. These aren't fully optimized, but it's just an example to show you how the keywords look like and where you would enter it. So this is an example of where you would enter the keywords for the iOS App Store. On the Google side, you'll see, this is how the Google Play Store looks, and there is no section to enter keywords. And again, where you would put the keywords is actually in the description, and you wouldn't just put in a list of keywords separated by commas or anything like that. You'd actually put in a description that would make sense to a user or a viewer looking at your app, and then Google would then go through that and determine which ones are keywords that are appropriate for your app. So again, as I mentioned before, for ASO purposes, keywords are an extension of your app title, and that's why both of them need to be worked on together in order for it to be most effective. Now, when I first started, I created my first app in 2012. And back then, when it came to choosing keywords, I based it just on what I thought was the most relevant to what people would be using to search for my type of app or the app that I wanted to promote. And so that was based very much on relevance. And relevance is still true today. Keyword relevance is by far the most important thing. The keyword has to make sense for the type of app that you're promoting. And if it's a keyword that is bringing traffic, but it has nothing to do with what your app does, there's no point in ranking for that, because people are going to be turned off when they see what your app does and when they find out it has nothing to do with what they're looking for. So relevance is most important, but relevance alone is not enough. Things are very competitive now, or much more competitive, and you need to also factor in a couple of other things. Because having a super relevant keyword that has like 2,000 other apps that are competing for it, and let's say you compete for, let's say you have an app that has something to do with Facebook, and so you want to use the keyword Facebook and show up in the search results for the term Facebook. And let's say there's 2,000 other apps that are competing for the word Facebook as well, and let's say iOS or Google Play determines that your app is ranked 967 among all the apps that are competing for the search term Facebook. Now, when a user types in or searches for the term Facebook, the chances of them flipping through and looking through 967 results to find your app and downloading it is not going to happen. It's pretty much nil, the chances of that happening. So in reality, for the term Facebook, if there are that many apps that are competing for that term, there's really no point in even trying to compete for the term Facebook, because it's not going to be effective. You're not going to show up in any of the results for any realistic case for someone to find you. So again, the first thing, what you want to focus on for keyword optimization, the first and foremost, is relevance. How relevant is the keyword to your app? And that by far is the most important thing. Again, without flogging a dead horse, you don't want to enter a term that's completely irrelevant for your app, because people aren't going to download your app anyways. But the other two things you want to focus on are these 2 points. And the second thing is low competition. So again, if like the Facebook example, if it's high competition and there's thousands of apps that are competing for that same term, you want to stay away from those apps, at least initially, if you're first launching your app, because if you're ranked way down the list, no one's ever going to see you anyways. So you need to find terms that are low competition. And what that means is how many other apps are competing for this keyword. The third thing you want to focus on is traffic. And so how many people are searching for this keyword? And so, if you have some term where nobody's searching for it, then there's no point, because no one's searching for that term. So there's no point in trying to rank for it. But even if there's a little bit of traffic, there's some people searching for that search term, it could be a very good keyword that you want to focus on. And the more traffic, obviously, the better, but it does depend on how high or low the competition is. So ideally, you want something that's a low competition keyword that brings in high traffic. But short of that, you want a low competition keyword that brings any kind of traffic. And so that's something that we're going to go into to show you how to do it. A couple of other things that I should mention is you can compete for higher competition keywords. Like you potentially could compete for the keyword Facebook, but it really depends on the type of reputation that your app gets. And what I mean by a reputation is it's based on your reviews, your ratings, your history in the App Store. There are a lot of factors that factor into your app's reputation. And so as your app starts to grow and get more popular and it shows that people are downloading it, you will get ranked higher and higher. And at that point in time, you could start to compete for some higher ranking keywords. And so that brings me to this next point, which is keywords need to be tracked and modified or updated over time for the best results. So a lot of people just enter in their initial keywords and they just leave their app just like that, and they hope and pray for the best for that app. But the ones that are truly savvy in the App Store will actually track their keywords and see how they rank for each of their keywords. And over time, let's say the time of 4 weeks or 6 weeks, they'll see which keywords are actually performing and doing well and bringing in traffic, and which ones are not bringing in traffic. And they'll see which keywords are ranking high and which ones are ranking terribly. And then they'll get rid of their keywords that are not performing and substitute those poor keywords with other keywords, and then track those ones as well. And as the app starts to get this reputation and the App Store recognizes it as an app that people desire and want, it will start to rank higher. And that's where you can start to compete for higher ranking keywords. And so I'll go into an example of that shortly.